Okay, let's unpack this. We hear it everywhere, right? The incredible promise of generative AI, how it's going to, completely change business.
Totally transform things. Yeah.
But here's the thing everyone's asking.
Yeah.
How do you actually get past that initial buzz? How do you see, real measurable results hitting the bottom line from what are often pretty big investments?
Exactly. That's the core question. And it's precisely what we're diving into today.
Right. We're focusing specifically on one solution, Querix.chat, and really trying to understand how it's built from the ground up to deliver that actual business impact from Gen AI.
To do that, we've looked at quite a bit of material.
Yeah, we dug into info about Dead's Eye, that's the company behind Querix, and how they're positioning themselves against the wider AI agent trends.
And their enterprise strategy overall, plus, crucially, the documentation detailing how Querix actually creates measurable results.
We also pulled in an IDC info brief just to get that broader context on the business opportunity with AI right now.
So our mission here really is to pull all this together for you. We want to extract those key insights, the things that show why Querix.chat is set up to drive measurable Gen AI impact.
Giving you that knowledge quickly, thoroughly, without, drowning in technical jargon.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's start with the bigger picture. Lots of companies are jumping into Gen AI. What's the data telling us about where they're putting their efforts and what they hope to achieve?
Well, the IDC data is a pretty clear snapshot. Gen AI adoption has jumped significantly. It went from 55% of organizations back in 2023.
Right.
Up to 75% in 2024. So it's definitely moving past the experimental stage for many.
Okay, so real implementation is happening. What are the main goals?
When you look globally, the top drivers are, number one, boosting employee productivity. That's about 33% of initiatives.
Makes sense. Doing more with less or just more?
Exactly. And number two is top line growth. So increasing revenue. That accounts for about 23%.
Pretty standard business drivers then. Now, the Querix enterprise strategy stuff suggests that as companies get deeper into Gen AI, their needs are changing, becoming more specific.
Absolutely. That initial wow factor with the big general purpose large language models, the LLMs like GPT.
Yeah, the ones everyone first interacted with.
Right. That's shifting. Now, the demand is moving towards AI solutions that are really customized for specific business problems that give you answers you can actually understand and trust, and importantly, that don't break the bank.
Because those big general models have limitations for businesses, don't they?
They definitely can. You've got the issue of hallucinations and the AI just making things up.
Which is a non-starter in business usually.
Totally. Or getting an answer without knowing where it came from, that lack of transparency. Then there's the risk of getting locked into one vendor's ecosystem.
Vendor lock-in, always a concern.
Plus, adapting them quickly to unique business stuff can be slow, and the costs, well, they can get pretty high based on usage, those tokens.
Okay, so the general tools aren't quite hitting the specific needs of enterprises. This is where Querix.chat comes in with a different angle.
Exactly. They're positioning themselves very deliberately as a specialist alternative. They're not trying to build a better general chatbot for, asking about the weather.
Right.
Their whole value proposition, as they state it, is being a safer, smarter, faster enterprise decision agent, focused specifically on regulated, domain-specific tasks within a business.
Okay, decision agent. That's interesting phrasing. What are the key advantages they claim give them that edge over, say, the big tech players?
They highlight 6 main competitive advantages. First off is real-time data updatability, meaning their system can digest and use new information literally in seconds, whereas traditional approaches might take days or even weeks to retrain or fine-tune.
Wow, seconds versus weeks is a huge difference. What's next?
Second, they're cloud and LLM agnostic. This is big. It means you're not stuck with one cloud provider or one specific AI model.
Freedom from lock-in, like you mentioned.
Precisely. Third, a highly token-efficient RAG engine.
RAG. Retrieval Augmented Generation.
That's the one. So instead of the AI just guessing based on its general training, Querix first retrieves relevant info from your company's data and then generates the answer based on that specific context.
So it grounds the answer in actual company knowledge, which helps with accuracy.
Exactly. It combats hallucinations, and their engine is designed to be super efficient. They claim it can lead to a 50-70% reduction in LLM costs compared to just using standard APIs for models like GPT.
15 to 70% cost reduction. That's substantial. What else?
Fourth is traceable and transparent answers. Every response links back to the source documents it used.
Crucial for compliance and just trusting the output.
Absolutely essential, especially in regulated fields. Fifth is enterprise-grade security and governance. Think data anonymization, minimizing how much sensitive data the LLM itself actually sees, full audit logs. The works.
Security is table stakes for enterprise software.
For sure. And finally, number 6, they talk about ultra-fast time to market. Deploying custom AI agents tailored to specific needs in potentially just days.
Okay, these don't sound like minor tweaks. They sound like fundamental architectural choices.
That's the argument. Dudzai's internal analysis frames these as creating real, sustainable advantages moats, even against the big, generalist tech companies. Their specialized focus makes it hard to just copy these things easily.
Right. Let's connect this back to the core topic then. Measurable business impact. How does Querix actually translate these features into results you can see on a spreadsheet? The Why Querix Enterprise doc must cover this.
It does, directly. It maps these capabilities straight onto those main enterprise goals we talked about: productivity, revenue growth, and data protection.
Okay, how does it accelerate adoption, for instance? That seems key to getting impact quickly.
Well, the rapid deployment helps massively. They say they can get you live in maybe 3-4 weeks using templates. That helps management see value faster.
Reduces that time to value pressure.
Exactly. And the vendor freedom, being cloud and model agnostic, removes a big barrier to adoption, that fear of getting locked in long term.
Right.
Plus, the whole approach to safe rollout, keeping humans in the loop where needed, having those source citations for compliance, it tackles the risk aversion that often slows these projects down.
Makes sense. Faster, safer adoption.
Yeah.
But what about the day-to-day impact on how people work? The productivity piece.
This is where they claim some really significant gains. Up to 70% time savings on tasks like research, drafting initial documents, even employee onboarding.
70%? How?
Through things like their multimodal ingestion, pulling in text, audio, video, images, so employees can genuinely find anything, anywhere with one query across all the company's knowledge.
A unified search across everything.
Basically. And they have built-in analytics dashboards too, so managers can actually see how the agents are being used, track the time saved, track the tasks being done more efficiently. It makes the value visible.
Visible and quantifiable. Okay, what about the other big goal driving revenue?
They outline a few key areas there. AI sales co-pilots, for example, helping qualify leads faster and more accurately.
Speeding up the sales cycle.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Also, customer-facing virtual assistants that don't just answer questions, but can guide people through self-service processes, leading to higher conversion rates.
Turning service interactions into sales opportunities.
Or just more efficient service delivery. And for marketing, AI co-pilots automating things like multilingual campaigns or even feeding customer insights directly back into the CRM system, all designed to directly boost the top line.
So it's hitting both efficiency and revenue generation. What does this mean for the actual return on investment, the ROI?
This is a really interesting point. That IDC data we mentioned shows an average global ROI for Gen AI projects around 3.7x the investment.
Which is pretty good on its own.
It is. But Querix argues that their token efficiency, that 50-70% cost reduction on the LLM side, means many projects could hit break-even within just 1 quarter.
Break-even in a quarter. That's incredibly fast.
Yeah, and that superior cost efficiency naturally sets the stage for potentially much higher overall ROI compared to the average.
That's a bold claim, but the logic tracks with the cost savings. Are there other financial angles? New revenue streams, maybe?
Yes, they talk about new monetization possibilities using what they call composable agent blocks.
Meaning?
Essentially letting companies package their own unique internal knowledge or processes into AI assistants they could white label or offer as paid APIs to other businesses.
So turning internal expertise into an external product.
Right. And that fits with IDC's forecast that specific functional and industry use cases will be key monetization areas soon. Querix also supports things like revenue sharing models and usage-based billing, offering different ways to generate recurring income.
Okay, let's touch on security again. It's always a huge concern for enterprises. How deep do the Querix protections go?
Pretty deep, it seems. Fine-grained, role-based access control, so only the right people see the right data.
Standard but essential.
End-to-end encryption, naturally. A key point they stress is not training their underlying AI models on customer data. That's a big privacy win.
Definitely reduces risk.
Plus, flexible deployment options on-premise, private cloud, hybrid to meet data location rules, and full audit trails, automatic PI masking to scrub personal info. It's comprehensive.
Sounds like they've thought through the major enterprise roadblocks for AI adoption.
It seems that way. They even address the skills gap, which IDC flags as a huge challenge globally.
How so?
They offer a no-code builder. The idea is that subject matter experts inside the company, people who know the business but aren't necessarily coders.
Right, the domain experts.
They can actually build their own AI agents using this tool. And there's a Querix Academy for training to make sure it's done properly, following compliance rules.
So democratizing AI development within the company safely.
That seems to be the goal. It helps build that internal AI capability faster.
So Querix isn't just positioning itself as a piece of tech, but more like a strategic enabler, giving companies an edge while keeping things responsible.
Exactly. They really lean into providing a tangible competitive advantage, but also embedding responsible AI governance. Things like a policy engine, those source links for verification, regular risk checks.
It's about trustworthy AI.
Yes. Ultimately, they're pitching it as a way to fundamentally reinvent core functions, IT, customer service, sales, HR, finance, compliance, you name it.
Okay, let's circle back to that IDC report. Beyond the average ROI, what else did it say about what makes Gen AI projects successful?
Well, it reinforces that 3.7x average ROI figure. And interestingly, right now, productivity use cases seem to be giving the best returns on average.
So efficiency gains are paying off fastest.
Currently, yeah. And the really eye-opening stat is the difference for what IDC calls AI leaders.
Leaders, meaning?
Companies with a really clear, aligned AI strategy and a strong focus on creating actual business value. These top performers, they're seeing an average return of 10.3 times their Gen AI investment.
Wow, 10.3x. That's a massive jump from the 3.7x average. What sets these leaders apart, according to IDC?
Well, their characteristics align really closely with what Querix seems to be offering. These leaders put a much stronger emphasis on responsible AI, on having solid governance frameworks in place.
Which maps to Querix's focus on traceability and security.
Precisely. And another key trend IDC highlights is the move towards more sophisticated AI. Companies are shifting away from just using off-the-shelf stuff towards developing customized or even fully custom-built AI applications for their specific needs.
Which again fits with Querix's platform being flexible and adaptable for building custom agents.
Exactly. The market seems to be moving towards the kind of specialized, enterprise-focused solution that Querix represents.
Okay, so if we pull this all together, synthesizing everything we've looked at, what are the absolute key takeaways about Querix.chat and its ability to drive that measurable business impact with Gen AI?
I think it boils down to this. Querix's core design and its strategic focus seem purpose-built to overcome the common limitations of general-purpose Gen AI in business. It offers a clear pathway to measurable results through, well, several key things. Faster, smoother adoption thanks to easy deployment and vendor independence. Significant potential for productivity boosts via its features. Direct contributions to top-line growth through specialized agents.
And the potentially superior ROI from that cost efficiency.
Right, that's a big one. Plus the robust security and governance that de-risks the whole thing. It addresses the major enterprise pain points.
So it's really not just about having a conversation with an AI.
No, not at all. Querix is positioning itself not as just another conversational interface, but as a tool engineered to be a safer, smarter, faster decision-making engine for the enterprise, one that delivers tangible, measurable value.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. Really clarifies how a specific solution is trying to bridge that gap between Gen AI hype and actual quantifiable business results. Definitely gives you, our listener, a lot to consider.
It really does, and it leaves us with a key thought for you to take away. As organizations everywhere move from just playing around with Gen AI to implementing it seriously.
Which is happening now, according to IDC.
Right. Solutions like Querix.chat, the ones designed specifically for an enterprise needs, focusing on measurable outcomes, traceability, security, cost efficiency. They're likely going to be critical for unlocking the real potential of this technology. Maybe think about how that kind of knowledge-first, traceable, efficient approach could change the game for Gen AI's impact in your own organization.